Understanding human design is a personal journey of discovery that has been unlike anything else I've tried in its ability to help me lead a fulfilling life. And because you are watching this, now might be a fantastic time for you to investigate the human design system and see how it can help you. Because, let's face it, the bad news is that there is a lot of resistance out there. Trials and tribulations, pain and heartache, worry, doubt, and confusion. Sometimes it's hard to know which way to turn. Insecurities, fears, past failures can all stand in the way of you making a clear decision on what to do or where to go in life. Every decision that we make takes us either in one of two directions. We move away from our true potential, or we move towards it. So, how do we make the right decision? Have you ever wished that you had a GPS for your life? And if you had one, wouldn't you like to have it take you home to yourself? About 7 years ago, I thought I knew what I wanted and where I was going. I got to that place I was brainwashed by society to achieve. I was 30 and I had all the things that we are deeply conditioned to strive for in life. I had my health for the most part, a loving family, lucrative business, a beautiful house on the hill, investment properties, an SUV, a retirement fund, and vacations several times a year. So why, when it seemed like I had everything, was I still unhappy and fearful inside? Why did it not feel like it was enough? Why did I not feel successful, though I had everything I dreamed of having? The answer is simple. I was not living my life. I was living out the life I thought I was supposed to have. Have you ever had that kind of experience, where you get what you think you want, and you still don't feel fulfilled? I want to let you in on something that has changed my life. There's something even better than a GPS available to you, for a GPS would still require that you tell it where to go. Every single one of us has a built-in navigation system that already knows where to go. And where it wants to go is exactly perfect for you. When you allow your inner guidance system to function properly, it takes you where you can find your true fulfillment in life. You can experience the peace, satisfaction, success, or surprise in life that you desire, with less anger, frustration, bitterness, or disappointment. The good news is that there are operating instructions for your built-in navigation system. Human design is a science of differentiation. It is logical, it is practical, it is mechanical, and it can be life-changing. Human design is a relatively new mechanical science that explains how we can operate optimally in the world so that we can benefit fully from our true potential. Here you see an illustration of a rave mandala. See the colored shapes on top of the outline of a person there in the middle? That's what we call a body graph. Human design is a synthesis of modern and ancient sciences. Altogether, it is so much more than the individual systems. Do you see the astrological symbols around the body graph? Also notice that those geometric shapes, these are hubs of energy, similar to the Hindu Brahmin chakra system. Also notice the channels, derived from the Zohar or Kabbalah. Also notice the hexagrams of the Chinese I Ching and our genetic code. Human design gives us a breathtakingly simple strategy to follow for decision making, and it shows us where our true authority lies. Each of us are designed to have our own authority for decision making. Our strategy and authority comes from the energy that is consistent and reliable in us. Strategy and authority allows us to bypass the mind's deeply conditioned behaviors that often lead us further away from our unique potential. Human design is a system that shows how you are designed to make correct decisions so that you can live out your uniqueness. Human design can give you a deeper understanding of yourself and how you function in the world. It can help you live life with a transformed outlook and awareness. Human design is not a belief system, theorizing, philosophy, or religion. What it offers you is a clear way to make decisions that point you home to yourself so that you can live out your true nature. So, how did the human design system come into the world? A manifestor named Ra Uru Hu was the human design system's founder and messenger. Here is Ra's story from mybodygraph.com. Born Alan Robert Krakauer on April 9, 1948, Ra spent his early years in Montreal, Canada. After he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree, his career path led him into the business world as an advertising executive, magazine publisher, and media producer. The arts were important to Ra, and he expressed himself as a composer and performer throughout his life. In 1983, he left Canada to travel, eventually finding his way to the island of Ibiza, where he spent years working as a school teacher. In January of 1987, he had a sudden and unexpected mystical experience, followed by an encounter with a voice, an intelligence far superior to anything he had ever experienced. This encounter lasted for 8 days and nights, during which he was given the information for what is known today as the human design system. Ra considered himself the messenger of the human design system and dedicated the next 25 years of his life to teaching the system around the world. He showed people how to live a healthy life and how to make the right decisions and live with awareness. Together with his family, he lived in the United States, Germany, and most of the time on Ibiza, where he passed away in March of 2011. Ra would often encourage people not to believe him. He wanted everyone to try it out for themselves, to experiment with the knowledge. So, why experiment? When you experience the knowledge viscerally, in real life, you'll discover the truth of the mechanics and see how well it works for you. I love this quote from Ra. Human design opens the door to the potential of self-love, the love of life, and the love of others through understanding. Human design is all about seeing as you. It's not built on faith, but rather is a logical, empirical system that offers you the opportunity to experiment with its mechanics. I've experimented with my strategy and authority, and I've found a way of looking at the world that has allowed me to understand others and myself in a whole different way. Experimenting with the logical mechanics of your human design offers you the opportunity to decondition from what isn't you so that you can discover yourself. Over time, you begin to understand and accept your true nature. How much time? Well, life moves in 7-year cycles. Yes, 7 years can be a long time to reveal your true nature. But how long did it take you to get to where you are now? As Ra says, it doesn't matter what your design is. What matters is how you live it. Are you living a life full of resistance, filled with anger, or frustration, or bitterness, or disappointment? Or are you living a life where you get to experience the peace, or satisfaction, or success, or surprise that is the frequency of your life lived correctly? By experimenting, we are able to discover the truth of our human design mechanics. Human design uses your birth data, the date, time, and place of birth, to calculate your rave chart, also known as your body graph. Think of it like a map of you. The synthesis of information represented in your body graph reveals the keys to who you are. Through an analysis of your body graph, you can see the different aspects of yourself. You'll see what energies are fixed and reliable within you. You'll also see where you are open to taking in other energies. This openness is potentially sensitive and vulnerable. We all have unique ways of how we take in and filter energy from the outside. We also emit energy outwards, which is how we affect others. Your human design mandala shows you a map of all the possible ways that you can be conditioned. From this large range of possibilities, we each carry a set amount of characteristics. This unique imprint allows you to experience the world in your way and determine how you operate. Human design describes the mechanics of how we are imprinted by the planets. The planets continue to affect us every moment of our lives. But how can the planets affect us? Well, that's where we come to neutrinos. Often referred to as the breath of stars, neutrinos are shot out as a byproduct of nuclear fusion from the sun, the same process that produces sunlight. Unlike sunlight, neutrinos can penetrate through solid objects and are very small pieces of matter themselves, carrying information from everything that they pass through. Neutrinos penetrate the planets and imprint us deeply at 2 times in our lives. The moment of our birth gives us our personality data, and 88 degrees of the sun's movement before our birth gives us our design data. And because tens of billions of neutrinos pass through every square centimeter every moment, we are still being programmed by the movement of the planets every moment of every day, while we are awake and while we are asleep. Neutrinos carry information not only from the planets to us, but from us to others and back to the planets as well. We are completely surrounded and penetrated by an enormous star field, this neutrino ocean, constantly subject to the programming of information that the neutrinos carry. These neutrinos pass through the planets and filter through our being. Everyone is affected by the program, also known as the transit field. Think of the openness in your chart as receptors. This is where you take in and learn from the information of outside conditioning influences. We are all in the same neutrino program, but each of us expresses that program differently through our human design. Your energy is imprinted in your DNA. Your DNA is the carrier of genetic information. DNA is a self-replicating material present in nearly all living organisms as the main constituent of chromosomes. Nearly every cell in a person's body has the same DNA. Both the DNA and the I Ching use a basic set of patterns to build up their form and function. There is a mathematical connection between the DNA and the I Ching. The 64 hexagrams of the I Ching are represented in the outer ring of the Rave mandala. Their position in the wheel does not change. Energy in these 64 gates are activated at different times and in different ways by the solar system's movement through the gates. Everyone has all 64 gates present in their design, but only the defined gates create definition and consistent energy in your Rave chart. As you can see from this image, every hexagram or gate has 6 lines. Beneath the line, there are 3 more levels of detailed information within the human design system that is beyond the scope of this introduction. But I do want to mention that underneath every single line is the substructure. The chain of possibilities from 5 bases, 6 tones, and 6 colors brings specific nuance to the surface line. This is only mentioned to show you that each line can operate in many different ways. Like we mentioned, every hexagram has 6 lines, and here they are. Your profile is generated from the line value in your personality and design, Sun and Earth. Hexagram lines start at the bottom and move up towards the top. The general theme for each line is shown here. Your profile is your costume or your role in life. Here are the latest statistics from JovianArchive.com on the distribution of profiles among the people who have used the free online Rave chart service. Here you can see my full Rave mandala. Notice the body graph in the middle? The colored in areas are what is consistently defined in me. Notice in the inner wheel here that it contains the 12 signs of the zodiac? This is because the software uses astrological calculations in creating your Rave chart. Notice here those 2 calculations on either side of the body graph? Your personality is in black on the right side. Notice the astrological symbols for the planets above the hexagram values. And on the left side of the body graph, here we have the design in red. You can see that the hexagram values are very different from my personality. This is an 88-degree difference of the sun's movement, the difference between the times of neutrinos imprinting my being. This is why we say in human design that we are a binary consciousness. This quantum of energy defines who we are in the world. These defined aspects in your body graph are what we use to determine your aura type. When you are given your aura type, of which there are 4 basic types with millions of variations, you are also given a strategy to follow in decision making. There are 7 basic authorities or ways of making those decisions based on your body graph. When you follow your strategy and authority, you'll circumvent your conditioned mind's influence on your decision-making process. You begin to align with the nature of your true being. The only way you'll have a chance of living out your unique potential is to experiment with following your strategy and authority to decondition and discover what it feels like to operate correctly. Living according to your human design allows you to experience what it means to feel fulfillment for you, also known as the signature of your type.